Alrighty, I think we are going live now. Maybe. Hard to say. Oh, YouTube. Well, I get the impression that it's live, so that's something. So busy day. Here we go. All right. 6:44. Ba-dum-bum. Yeah, I know. Alrighty, live chat. Let's do the thing. All right. So, hi friends. If you are looking at my desk, it's a hellhole. I printed out. We are at we are at a new phase of this building. This is the wood mill, which I'm pretty excited about, and I'm realizing now that part is not on there completely straight. It was. Son of a bitch. No whammies, no whammies. So yeah. All your base are belong to us. Yes, Possum. Yes, indeed. I've been basing all of these little dudes in an attempt to... Hey, that worked. In an attempt to get everything ready so I can start actually playing Trench Crusade, to get some games in before somebody set up us the bomb. We got signal. We get signal. Hell yeah. Set it up. Set it up. Blah. I gotta push that a little bit. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with this little wood mill. So there is another part of it that goes over here that will be connected, like where I guess it would be built over like a little stream or a river. So I'm printing the second floor now. I just have to get the first floor to be level and flat, but I think I just fixed that. So, but it's a pretty good little size building. It seems like a good little place for little dudes to hang out, or dudettes. Dude is a non. I never thought of dude as a gendered term, but maybe I'm not. Something. Man, hey man, it's not intentional, but I should fix that. Yeah. This is looking good. I'm happy with this. All right. So, let's see. Today, I am continuing the mass of organizing, getting things separated. I've got a good amount of these little dudes printed out. These would be just the 3D prints from Feo Factory. This thing is right. So yeah, okay. Here we go. That's the middle. So, yeah, I'm digging them. I'm definitely going to. I mean, I'm gonna make my own conversions. Obviously, the main goal was I wanted to see size, scale, that kind of thing, knowing how the models like that they made for the game play on the terrain that I'm making. That way, I know what kind of conversions and stuff I can make to still have the game board be playable. So at this point, I have cut off all of the iconography, any like Imperial Eagle off of all of the barrels, and all of the like little defense, like little fortifications, all of the crates. We've got all the iconography off of the Warcry set. I also think I'm going to use... Get out of here. Why did I even... Okay. It's an alarm. Like, it's on its... Probably... I really, honestly, I want to use this terrain as well that I made for Visterion. I mean, it really doesn't need much. The only thing that I'm stuck on with my like 40k kind of stuff, I'm trying to find a middle between, oh yeah, that's too much, and oh yeah, okay, this is just the right amount of being crazy and like trying to redo how something looks. Essentially, I just want to make sure that all of the visual language is the same, and does not... I just don't want someone to look at it and be like, oh, that's Warhammer, and you just didn't give a shit. These guys are really kind of frustrating me because they are just on the level in my head of like, do you need to do something with those or not? Because they do look like... They look like a almost like Russian Orthodox train car. They're these weird little train cars that set on top of, you know, wheels like this, little doors, little windows, like an older-fashioned train car, essentially. So I was leaning towards that kind of vibe, and just going further into that and making them almost like just probably putting lots of little spires. I've got a bunch of Battlefield Gothic stuff that I have been saving for a very, very, very long time. And while I love the idea of playing Battlefield Gothic, I'm just going to be real, I don't know if I'm ever going to do it. So thinking about that kind of has me thinking maybe I should use some of these really cool bits and stuff that I have been saving to detail up everything. I really want the city to look like a mix. As far as a vibe, I'm really going for like a Bloodborne, a 1914 trench Bloodborne, like Yharnam kind of city. Yharnam's vibe. Bloodborne is just, you know, it's my favorite game, but the aesthetic is so visually appealing, and that's the overall tone that I'm going to be going with, like how I paint things. So I'm really excited about that. But with all of this little business, there's just so many good little details on these that I feel like if I removed them and put them on things, they would just look like very ornamental, religious iconography. And there's a lot of it just because they're all covered in cathedrals and that kind of stuff. And again, I've got these. I've got my printers, so I can just keep printing whatever I want. That, I think it's mainly the little triangles. The triangles make it where I don't know, I think I'm overanalyzing it. And then the same with this piece. Armored Train Win. Yeah, like that's, so far I am at the, I've also got a ton of these little guys. So I have 4 of these, of both of these. I have 4 of the small ones and 4 of the big ones. And I'm trying to figure out I think I'm going to do some kind of like little tractor, but I need to get rid of, yeah. Luckily, there's not much on these that like makes them look like they're 40k. The rest of it just makes them look grimdark, which, I mean, really, grimdark. That's the aesthetic. So it's just like, I think honestly I might just leave these as is, and they just need grit. They just need stuff on top of them. I just don't want them to look too much like I just took something out of 40k and I'm just trying to make it work, because it's a very set aesthetic. But also I feel like once I start working on it, I'll kind of know. These, the skulls in the sides and the chains down here, those are the part of these kind of bits that that I'm at I don't know about that. Because I don't know what those would be other than decoration. And it just seems like a very specific 40K decoration. But, man, I'm saying this, and all of it, again, it's just... I mean, it's just decorations. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm overanalyzing. I think I'm too deep in the sauce. Got to get out of that sauce. Never been a sauce boy. More of a dry rub. Anyway, so it is 6:54. Just trying to keep an eye on the time. Today I am going to be finishing up at least enough physical terrain to where I can play a game or two of like practice terrain, like just making sure I have all the rules down. I don't have them assembled yet, but today I will be assembling a Heretic Legion, which that is another thing that I was going to cover. So since we, Kelly and I are going to be, I'm going to make all of them, and by all of them, I mean like all of them. Like, I am so obsessed with this game and this world and this lore. It like is literally the perfect match of all of my favorite things. So, Bosm, yes, for an armored train, and I was like, yeah, I know, but yeah, no, yeah, eventually there will be an armored train because that was definitely a key part of like why I enjoyed Battlefield 1, which again, Battlefield 1 is not World War 1. Trench Crusade is not World War 1. They have just the vibe, the aesthetic, and the crushing kind of vibe. It just is so... my wife and I watched 1917 last night again, and man, that movie is, one, beautiful, two, horrifying. Like, there's just they do such a good job of capturing why World War One is so utterly horrifying to me. And I think one of the best things that they do is showing just the utter just bureaucratic bullshittery of it all, where everyone is just so fucking done. And there's like, yeah, man, if you want to go over there, sure, climb up. You're gonna get shot. If you could just throw that back. Like that guy I really like. I like that character. I want to tell them to throw back the flare gun if they get shot too close, or if they get shot close enough, you throw that flare gun back. I like that. Very, very good. Very trench humor. That's another thing that is very... It overflows. When anything you look at from like World War One, like people writing in the trenches, like macabre humor, it just got crazy. But it's coping mechanisms. Anywho, so I've printed out a whole bunch of Heretic Legion and New Antioch and Trench Pilgrim stuff. So, Possum, I'm going to let you decide between New Antioch and Trench Pilgrims, what do you want to see fight the Heretic Legion in like the first games? Like the games that like Kelly and I are going to be probably learning how to play the game, where I'm going to be teaching her. I already know she wants to play Heretic Legion. She just wants to play something that's from hell. And I was just like, I know a winner when I see it. So that's a keeper. But honestly, I find both New Antioch and the Trench Pilgrims very fun. So I would enjoy either. I did print out a Shrine Anchorite, which gets me really pumped. It's metal as shit. I love that. That's the problem though. Like Trench Pilgrims, I could see myself very much not doing good in a campaign with, because I'm going to break one of my own people on the wheel every game. Like it just makes sense. It just seems right. But yeah, I really like just this awful giant church dreadnought. Very fun. And I say, oh, so-and-so can, Possum can pick anyone if you all would like to weigh in. If you are more interested in seeing New Antioch or the Trench Pilgrims, if you are needing a visual, I don't have any. So Trench Pilgrims are going to be way more, the guys with little pointy heads, Shrine Anchorite kind of stuff. Trench Pilgrims are just, or not Trench Pilgrims, but New Antioch is just straight up the human kind of crew. Like they just look Imperial Guard. They're basic. Yep, everybody's here to keep hell from coming in. But they do have cool armor and shit. Uh, as far as the heaven side, that is like, man, I'm excited to work on the Sultanate. Holy shit, the Sultanate is like one of the coolest factions in this game. It is the representation of like Islam and what Islam is up to during all of this. I don't know. I could rant and rave about. The more I've looked and the more I've thought about the lore of Trench Crusade, the more it gets me so pumped. Because of they are essentially it's what I loved about Warhammer, except they're doing it with a timeline that I actually really give a shit about. But OBS, why are you asking me if I want to do an update while I'm using you? You're crazy. You're a crazy person. OBS, look what you've done. No, what I like is that. I mean, they essentially. I didn't realize that. I went back through and I read all the lore again, and they never even confirm whether or not it is Christianity. Like I guess that's the thing that I've. Morning, I cast for Trench Pilgrims. Roz! Oh my goodness. Thank you, Roz. And good morning. I didn't know you watched my stream sometimes. That's so fun and so exciting. I hope you're having a good day. A good day. A good day. It's 7 a.m. I'm waking up. He has for Trench Pilgrims. See, that's the thing. Like when I went to go play like a practice game, like we just played Black Grail because that's what Atru plays. But like my Vestarian group, the more I've just looked at them, like every one of them is just a Trench Pilgrim. Like the one that everybody likes that has a bunch of nails stuck in his body, he's just a castigator. Like that's it. Like he's just a guy with a whip. And it's just like, that's another thing. I'm not man. I want to play Trench Pilgrims. No, we're doing narrative. I know what I am. I know what I am. I want to play Trench Pilgrims. And my struggle isn't going to be Kelly killing all of my guys. It's going to be maintaining a fighting force while continually breaking my own people on my wheels and whipping them to death. Since AdCon, I'm actually a second shifter, so I shouldn't be up right now. Been catching the vibes. Nice. No, that's wonderful. Second shifter. Yeah, that'll do it. Second shift. So, yeah, that's not too bad. But no, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited. And if you all have any ideas, by the way, if you're like, hey, make this less 40K, more 1914. See, that's what I was getting at. I got hung up. My initial distaste of Trench Crusade, one, Nazis. I don't think I'm not in the wrong on that. That's the good taste is being like, yeah, fuck Nazis. You're like, is that fuck Nazis? Yeah, that's a great flavor. So yeah, that wasn't the problem. The Nazis, it was like, yeah, that everyone should know that. That's a problem. And they weren't there. Like that's the other thing is like, I let people that did not. It's just MAGA shit. I let people that are not fucking going to play my game or this game. They're not going to play the game with me. They're just coming in to do some fucked up racist shit or whatever they're doing because it's a place that they can go do that right now. And then they leave and they go back to, I guess, Flames of War or Warhammer 40K. I don't know what people like that play. I don't know. I don't hang out with people like that. So essentially, and then it became a issue of, oh, well, I really, really, really love that time period. So then it's a matter of killing your darlings, which I also love that because the more you get in there and you play around, the more fun you can have, typically. At least I think. So what I didn't fully grasp, though, until like my second read-through is like they never even confirm that it is God or that it is Christianity. Like, I love that, at least in the lore that I've read. All that we know is the Templars go to like the holiest place in the world. They find a new lord and they swear fealty to it. And based on that, all I can see is everyone else is just like, oh shit, this is hell. Oh man, we were right. Christianity was right this whole time. And then you get to Mendel, which I love so much. The little blasphemous shit in me, little heretic pride, baby. I love that Mendel, I want to say it's John Mendel, but he was like one of the founding fathers of geneticism. Is and he also was a monk. I fucking love that. Like, I just love. I love when a game is aware of what it is, and it's a commentary. I guess that's it. Commentary. All of it's a commentary, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't get it. That Warhammer 40k, like a lot of it is a commentary on. I mean, just the totalitarianism of our fucking capitalist government. It's colonialism shit. It's not capitalism. Let me rephrase that, because money is not an issue in like Warhammer at the time. It's overpopulation. It's people. It's expanding. It's the constant desire to have more until you have the entire galaxy. And of course, the Eldar learn that. People learn that. Everyone should learn that. I mean, we can't keep a single dirt ball. We can't keep one dirt ball safe, like, from ourselves, much less the entire galaxy. So it's all commentary. But one of the things that I really, really loved about Trench Crusade when I truly understood is they've done the same thing that I've always loved about 40k, which is it's how history fucking works. Like, what we know now is not fact. It's what we think is fact based on who won the things. And we have the ability to use critical thinking skills and look at a bunch of different things. And now we have science and all these other ways to measure and to help us gather evidence, fact, to support these theories and opinions about what happened back then. We have so much of that. We can really find so much stuff, but we don't have the exact. We are still putting some kind of thought into it. And I love when a universe, an in-game universe, plays around in that to try and just show you how much of what you think you know is right. Like, because that is something that just I've unfortunately realized that a lot of people, they don't have that ability to question if something is right or wrong. They're like, oh, this is right, this is wrong. Unfortunately, I was born the opposite of that, where it's just like I have to understand why. I like to understand why something is the way that it is, because I like to understand the full picture before I start playing around in anything. Whether I'm being practical or just having fun. I like to know what I'm doing. That's the sound. That's the sound it makes when I suck out of that water bottle. Kind of like a tractor beam. So I'm leaning towards Trench Pilgrims too. It just seems right. I do think New Antioch might be quicker, so I'll probably. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna put them both together. That's the other thing. I didn't want to do a mirror match because I want Kelly and I to get a good idea of like each of the different groups, because again, I plan on making all of them, all 6, and then like all of the variations of each one, and then coming up with my own new ones, and then coming up with new factions. I really like Trench Crusade. The more I've dug into it, I'm just like, this is really, really, really exciting. I was really bummed, but I'm not bummed. I think everything's. I'm not gonna say everything happens for a reason, but I will say that the choices that I have made and the things that I've done in the past have led me to be who I am right now. So I will say there's nothing I could have done that would have been different. I do wish that when I had found out about Merkborg, I found out about it at a time when it was still very much on the DL, just because a copy that I don't know if it was an early release, or maybe it was like because it went to somebody that was like supposed to be a retail so-and-so. I don't know, but the copy that Greg sent me, I got that before other people did, from what I gathered, and I don't know how or why, but I fell in love with that book. And no game has made me feel that way that Merkborg did until Trench Crusade, in the way that it plays like a game that I want to play. It plays like the game that I want, and someone finally made it. Like, that's with Merkborg. I had spent 2.5 years, almost 3 years on making my own role-playing game system. And it was, I mean, it's It's what all of us do. Like, none of this is original. Like, no one came up with dice. I mean mechanics, but everything comes from somewhere. And there's no taking concepts and changing how they are used is not bad. That's how we make things. That's how everything is made. Every game has been made before. It's just slightly different. The part. Oh shit! I lost the thought. I'm looking at this foot now. One of these toes is broken. I'm not going to fix that though. I'm going to have to cover that in something because that's not getting a toe sculpted. Wait, I didn't come up with the concept of rolling dice. Actually, that was possum. That was actually possum. Okay, now I remember what I was talking about. All these things, it's essentially all recycled. So I understand like wanting to, protect your darlings, but I also understand killing your darlings. And what I'm saying is, Merkborg, I was trying to come up with a game that the rules let me do what the I want, so I could just tell the story that I want. And this is, I mean, Thomas really, he fixed the things that I did not like about Mordheim. Like, I definitely made jokes about Mordheim because it was just like the Mordheim event. And this, again, I can't stress enough. This is nothing against Tomas or anyone that went there. It was just I found it very funny. It's funny that the amount of people that love Mordheim and they did the Mordheim event, like, a couple years ago, that was so big, like this big 20-year revival of Mordheim. And it's just like the amount of people that actually like played Mordheim though was very small. There were like just a couple of them there, and everyone else just fucking loved the setting. They loved the vibe. So I definitely was apprehensive when it was like, oh, Mordheim. Has Tomas made rules since then? I don't follow his work like that. But holy shit. Yeah, no, he nailed. They're the most satisfying tabletop game rules I've ever seen. The blood dice mechanic. The blood dice mechanic, I don't think I've talked about that. But if you're tuning in and you don't keep up with this stuff and you just watch it because you like me, then I really appreciate that. But also, I'll talk about blood dice because they're really cool. Not just because they're called blood dice, but essentially, in Trench Crusade, you don't have wounds. You are knocked down and then are either out or you get back up. So when you would normally take a wound in Trench Crusade, you take a blood marker. And what makes blood markers so good is it really blends the line, and it absolutely is a thing that could lead to like bad vibes if you're playing with an asshole. Like it's absolutely one of those things that's just like, yeah, this wouldn't work in 40K, like, or this wouldn't work in that. And also just the scale of the game, because it's such a smaller scale. Each model having to keep track of those kinds of things, it would get very crazy with big units and stuff like that, or it wouldn't feel right. There's just such a good balance of these move like how I would expect them to based on what they look like and based on the table that I'm playing on. That's all I want. I want the game that like we're playing and then we're rolling dice and stuff and having fun and imagining. I want what I can do in there with the rules that I'm given to match what I can do in my head. And typically tabletop games don't. Like, they just can't because there's just too much. And that's when it gets to things like Sunrot or Inquisimunda. And by Inquisimunda, I don't mean a rule set. I mean kind of like 4-Up gaming. You have a very loose framework where you are like, hey, we're trying to make this fair so we can just have fun, but we're just kind of telling a narrative story together. Fuck rules. Like, we don't need a rule book. You and I are the rule book. And I mean, at the end of the day, it all comes down to people are different. Everybody is different. And I'm really fucking behind, but Hive Scum. I remember listening to an episode where they were talking about like, oh, it could be very gotcha, and it's just like, who are these people? And who are the people that are like, oh yeah, that's a feel bad, or it can lead to a very gotcha kind of like moment. And it's just like, I remember listening to them talking. It's like, we don't have any people like that we play with. Like, and it's just like, man, that's awesome for you guys. Like, I'm glad that they have a group like that because, like, anytime I've gone to play in like a normal, hey, you want to play 40K? It's just like, sure. When I forget, the answer is fuck, no, I don't. When I forget that that's the answer and I go and I play, I'm like, man, this game sucks. And it's not the setting. It's not the setting. I love the setting. There are a lot of things that I sure as fuck would have changed during the Primaris days, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm just saying the game itself is not a game for people that want to have fun or like play a good game. It's a game designed to make you spend money and buy units that cycle through how good they are by addition. And it has been that since fifth, sixth edition, I guess. There's a very key point in which I remember thinking, what the fuck is this game even becoming? Because like the changes between 3 and 4, there were some changes there. I mean, running was added to the game, which was really cool. I can remember being excited and be like, oh, my guys can run now. And I also remember thinking like, oh, my guys can run now. And it's just like, they could have done that before, dude. Like, I didn't know how games worked, I guess, at the time. That was it. After 5th for sure. Yeah, I'd left tabletop like 40K, like playing with models. Like I still made models, but I stopped pretty much trying to play the game after it hit that point. I was like, yeah, this is not good. But the movement, how everything works in Trench Crusade is just so fluid, and because again, it's a true skirmish game. And that is, someone commented on this on the Discord and a couple other places, asking if they were going to make the game a battle version, like, oh, you can have tanks and you can have stuff like that. And I keep getting derailed. That's the tanks. This is not 1914 World War One. It's 1914 in an alternate timeline. So, and I was explaining to my wife, she was like, trenches, that's like just World War One. Trench warfare was World War Two as well. Like, trench warfare, it was there to stay during the World Wars. You had to dig in. The difference is the 6th Orc Codex dropped, and after the terrible core rules changes, I couldn't touch the game more. I think I remember that rule book, and I might have it. I don't know. I love orcs. I love orcs because they used to have lore and they changed that. I used to really like orcs because I found a kinship in mech boys, because they literally from birth just know how to make things, and that's how I am. Yeah, it's my wife and I were talking about that just because she's talked to my mom, my family, like my family members, like anytime they can like talk about me to my wife, like, of course they do. I don't know if that's normal or not, actually, now that I'm saying that. But they just will rant about the things that I used to do as a kid, and she's just like, oh, so it's not like you started to be like, nope, I came out like this. I don't know. Came out like this, just really good at making things, understanding how toys go together and how models go together without looking at instructions. Same thing with like components. I've always been a builder. And that was the thing that I really liked about the Big Mac lore, is that they were bestowed knowledge by the great ones. It wasn't, oh, the other orcs just believe enough, which is really stupid. Because here's the thing, you can shit in one hand and then like, believe that your orc shooter like works in the other, and the orc shooter will never work because like we're not psychic. I just think that was they went from being a very brutal like society that just sustained itself by like being this thing to like, oh, well, now it's just because they believe and there's not even a trigger. It's just like, I don't know who the target demographic is anymore. We're getting too silly here. Which also led me to, I'm so excited. I didn't even think about the fact that these are all very realistically sized firearms. Because I was explaining to Kelly, I was like, yeah, these are 32 millimeter. And I was like, our turnip guys are like 28. But they might be 32. They're just slouched and small. But the thing is, like all of my stuff that I had been working on, all of my terrain, all of my models that I make, all my guys are 32 because that's That's how I've been printing humans since I started working on like Horse Heresy stuff, because I have a whole list of like, this is the dimensions for real world, like it's all scale. If a Space Marine is X amount tall, then he should be X amount millimeters tall. That is how you make it look right. And the moment that I understood scale in a game, the moment was the moment I was incapable of making non-true scale Space Marines. Like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yep. I did try to make, and I still have them. I still have all the legs. Anybody can have them if they want them. I've got a whole bag of shit. I'll just mail it to you. I don't know where I put it. I've got a whole bag of just legs and all the bits from shit scale, just the firstborn Marines that I'm never going to use, because it's just like, I don't know what I could even use that piece for, because it's just like, it's just that. And that does sound wasteful, I know. It'll probably just become grit, just plastic. There's just so many details that I don't care for, that were added to a lot of just like sculpts. But with that said, I don't want to rant about all that for no reason. So I'm going to be gluing these heretic troopers together. I did make a list, and by make a list, I technically went to goonhammer.com, because I'm a competitive boy and I got to make sure that I stay on my grind, especially playing friendly games against my wife. But no, I went to Goonhammer to just see what other people were coming up with as a just basic learn to play list. So I did do that. I pretty much came up with a list for the Heretic Legion and for New Antioch. I haven't come up with one for Trench Pilgrims yet, but I'll do that today, because I do really want to play Trench Pilgrims. I might stick with New Antioch. I've already made the New Antioch one. Trench Pilgrims I will make. Shit. I'll do both. Okay. Yeah, no. I will go ahead and today I'm going to build the rest of the Heretic Legion to match the little list that I made. I'll make Trench Pilgrims and New Antiochs to make a little list to play some games, get some games in. I'm not doing anything too crazy lore building narrative with those. These are just to like help us learn the game, and then once we're at that point, like it's going to be okay. Now let's show you guys how we're going to do this narratively. And I was talking with Kelly about that. If you all have been on here while Kelly has talked about Merkborg, she loves Merkborg, and that is what I was getting at. Kelly loves Merkborg. My wife loves Merkborg not because I love Merkborg. She loves it because she has fun playing that game. And she has fun playing that game because there is not 30 years of lore that she feels like she has to know to be able to like sit down at the table and have fun with us. And half of that lore is bad, half of it's been recycled, and just there's just so much back fill with like getting into a system like that is so established. But the fact that one Merkborg is so new that like it was it's easy, it's intuitive, it's easy, it's streamlined, and at the end of the day, I guess the intention is it is exactly the kind of vibe that I try to what were your thoughts about the map? I loved the map. Oh shit, I just saw that. Playing the 6 Codex and having a 30 block of boys run into a tactical Marine squad and get wiped off the board before even doing a single one was insane. Yeah, baby. That is Warhammer. That is Warhammer, like, as much as I can think about it is... I didn't finish that thought because I got derailed into so many others because they're all connected, but Steve engaging them talking about like, oh, I think that leads to a gotcha moment, or this leads to that or that, and it's just like, maybe the gaming group that I played with just had a lot of people that were not too fun to play with, but like there were like 2 people that I legitimately loved to play with, and I would play with them every time. But then after that, it was just a lot of people, and I'm not going to say that. Different people want different things. That's it. I want to tell a story. I don't care who wins. I don't care who loses. I don't care if either of us win or lose. Like, honestly, I don't think anybody wins in a fighting game. But just because I don't know, winning is just has literally never been a thing that I gave a shit about. Like, unless the other person gives a lot of shits, and then I'm like, oh well, I feel like I'm supposed to give a shit too. But I just like the story. I just like telling it. My thoughts about the map were that it's very good, and I loved having a visual now so I can see, and I love even more. This is what I was getting at. This is the whole tangent. I love that it is not accurate. I love that it is not canonically accurate. It is accurate from the church's perspective. I love that. I love that they are going. That's so much of 40K is that people don't understand that, like, the things that they read in the codex, that everything is written in universe. Everything is a lie because of how bureaucratic nightmare bullshit the Imperium is. And it's the same thing with the church in Trench Crusade. On the chest of this shrine anchorite is clearly a like biblically accurate angel, which I'm all about that. But I really love the, oh yeah, it's heaven, it's hell, and it's just like, it might not be. There's actually a lot. I don't know if we've actually connected all the dots here. And then, you got Mendel essentially making, he's the founding father of genetics. So the communicant program comes into play, and it's just like, okay, are they using the blood of Christ from like actual like nails and stuff, or are they harnessing, where are they getting this genetics? Like, I don't know. But I love that I am now understanding that, and maybe I'm looking into it too far, but I don't think I am. I think it's supposed to be a very good play, the same way the Imperium is on Christianity, where it's just like, I don't think that's Christianity, guys. I think something else is going on, and you all have slapped that image over top of it. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe everyone else already had been thinking like this, but now that I've hit that point, and like I'm thinking about the Metacrists, and all the other things, I'm so pumped. Also, the characters, the witch burners, they are from the Inquisition. Which that was another thing that I'm like, well, I've already told Alexander, I was just like, I'm going to make content for this. I'm going to be making content for Trench Crusade. Whether or not I do that for Factory Fortress, that's entirely up to them. I'm going to be doing it. Alexander did mention that there's going to be like third-party kind of stuff, which is cool and all. I do like that because that means that I could sell my ideas, so I can make them into a little book and whatnot. Because I 100% would rather take all of the ideas that I had for like the Zone Rouge, for the Argonne, for all the places that are so like, man, I'm really excited to make a board. Like I messaged Greg. I finally did it. I messaged Greg with Turbo Dork yesterday. And today I'm going to follow up with like a further, like, okay, this is where I'm at, blah, blah, blah. But I let him know like what my plan is and what I'm doing, and they were awesome. Love Turbo Dork. I went to my local store and I got pretty much their basic like silver, gold, tin, their normal metal colors, because they have a lot of crazy metal colors. And hoo boy, we're going to be using those because Trench Crusade, baby. I'm very excited. Again, this is just who I am unapologetically. I'm a blasphemous little shit. Always have been. There's just something I really like about being bad. But I want to take Turbo Dork and their 80s marketing. I love everything about their paint, like as a brand. Like they get me, and I love the idea of using them to make the most grimdark shit that people have ever seen, just because of all the people that turn their nose because they're like, oh, well, you need to be using blah, 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 because that's the real grimdark stuff. It's like when my buddy, I was just like, yeah, I got these new pigments from Stuart Simple, and they're like literally the brightest pigments on the planet, but they're for my cacophony, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, I think I'll probably paint my stuff more grim dark." And I was just like, "You don't even know who I am." Yeah, I like to paint stuff grim dark too sometimes. Sigh. Alrighty. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? I need to start doing stuff on the stream as opposed to just talking. But there's just so much that I'm trying to juggle and keep going at the same time. And that was the other thing trying to explain to my wife is that I've got all this stuff going on over here. And it's just like, oh yeah, I need to do blank, blank, blank. And it's just like, I'm bad at like keeping other people up to date on what I'm doing, which is why my initial job as a design engineer at the telecom company I started at was so good because I was literally a peacock at the zoo, which is my de facto, like, that's my mode of operation is peacock at the zoo. Anywho, I like to just walk around, do my thing, and just be a good peacock at the zoo, just being cool. Don't chase me. But yeah, and that's what I did. So essentially, they just like, yeah, there would be months at a time, not months, I'd say weeks, probably 2 months. Okay. I had a kid at work tell me that it was impossible to convert an Imperial Guard army, and I didn't know what to say to him. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to that. Hi, baby. My wife's down here. Boxes. Good work for possums. Armored train ideas. Freight cars. That's okay, Roz. That's what I was thinking too, because they've got these. They got these little wheels. So you just click on here. And you're like, oh, okay, that looks like a train car. And then I thought, put something on the top. I thought the idea of like maybe making like a little like triangle house, like with almost shit. What blows off of our garage whenever shingles? Yep. Shingles, like a bunch of little like shingles, like kind of going down in a triangle. Which that's another thing. I've been looking at all the I love Mike's art. That's a big issue. Is that I need to figure out what to do with this, but all I want to do is make demons. That's all I want to do with my life, Jesus. Oh, man of Christ. So, yeah, I've got 4 of these little guys, and then I've got 12 of these containers. I bought a lot of those things. I found them on sale, and then it was after when I had a job where it was just like I made more money than I needed. So I bought a bunch of little toys that I never put together and did anything with. And there is something very, very, very fulfilling and exciting about being like, hey, I think I'm going to do what I love as a job and show you that I can, in fact, make money at that. And actually going through all the stuff that I have hoarded over these years. Por qué no demon train? Oh, now, so I did also think about that, is that I didn't want to go too hard into that, because I really want to build up to it. But man, the idea of the terrain, just slowly going back and adding more demonic shit to the terrain to represent Choo Charles the shit. Choo Charles the shit. Hell yeah. Choo Charles. I'm assuming, I'm not familiar with Choo Charles, but I'm assuming that it's kind of like Thomas the Demon Train. I would think. Oh, Thomas. My wife's grandfather has a massive train collection, and it's one of those things like model trains. Like, so I definitely wanted to make a couple nods at least to his stuff, because he had a huge impact on Kelly, and me, honestly. Yeah, like he was a good dude. He killed a jaguar with a knife once. Make both and have them touched. I like that idea. Also, what is that little face? I couldn't tell if it was a flayed person screaming, but I like that. That's really good. I would like to touch tips in No Man's Land with the shrine anchorite. I feel like it seems right. It just seems right. And by tips, I don't know what I mean. Like, maybe it's like head, and then like I'll put a big pointy hat on and we can like rub our heads together in the trenches, but don't tell anybody. I won't wear my ears. I was about to say something. Fuck. Man. Train cars. Boxcar train witch. Train cars. Sticker that, please. Yeah. Video game. Yeah, you're in a train and Thomas with spider legs comes after you as you do a thing. Oh yeah, that sounds horrifying. But I love that. Yeah, Choo Choo Charles. That sounds great. Yeah, that sounds good. Those are the kind of games I like. I want to touch tips in No Man's Land with the Shrine Anchor. That is a really good. That's a good quote. That's a good sticker. Yeah, that's a good sticker. I've thought of a lot of good stickers. Margot also like is just a prime candidate for like the most brutal shit that I can think of. It's like, anywho, so I jump in the trenches and I start bashing, and it's just Margot. That's what it was. I made a reference yesterday. I said that I think Friday I'm going to just have a long stream, and the joke was going to be I was going to post on Instagram a post to just like give everyone like, hey, here's the heads up. And it was just going to say, as Reverend Patrick Starr once said, you broke my heart. Now I'm going to break something of yours. And it's just going to be me taking all this Games Workshop stuff and making only Church Crusade stuff with it. I don't know how much money I've spent on this. Is literally like it's my entire collection of like models since like before, like when we had two towers, like we before 9/11, I started getting some of this stuff, like, and unfortunately, because I have so many people that want me to like do this game or do that game, I never finish shit, like, because I'm just pulled one direction or the other, and I finally have like what I want to do, and it's so fucking rad. And like I had just this really cool moment the other day where I realized I was like, I have like, you know, my Battlefleet Gothic stuff. I've got my Adeptus Titanicus stuff. I have so much stuff for all these games that I want to play or I wanted to play. And it's just like, I like the models. I need to acknowledge though, like I only have so much time. What game do I really want to play? Why do I want to play those games? We're supposed to be having fun with friends when we play these games, or with ourselves. And I also want to say that, like, anyone, I know a lot of people get very like, oh yeah, it's a one-player game. One-player games are fucking rad, dude. Like, I grew up like such a big impact of like how I am the person I am is because fucking like hanging out in my backyard with Micro Machines all alone for just, you know, hours playing, coming up with my own little stories in my head. That's like a good chunk of my childhood was just imagination land forever. And it's just, that's what I enjoy. That's what I like. So I'm just so excited that I now have no restrictions. Like I'm just going to make the setting that I love, like that just World War One, the trench hell with just the horrific demons and blasphemous bullshittery. It's just, I'm so excited. And being able to like look in and see all the shit that I have, I'm like, man, what am I gonna do with that Warhound Titan? I don't know, but it's gonna be Trench Crusade. It's not gonna be a Warhound Titan anymore. It's probably gonna be a really big walking shrine. Because now I get it. Like for, you know, Vestarian I made, which again, the Walker will be joining us again on good old Terra. That just it's something that the church made that has been walking around in the Black Sea. I'm excited to go further into looking into that and trying to make that a Trench Crusade model while I repair it. Its legs are shattered. I'm just very excited. I'm very excited to just convert this to stuff that is the aesthetic that I want. And I'm at a point, I'm not like, oh man, this is the end all be all. It's not that. It's not, oh, Trench Crusade's my favorite game. I've only played one game. It's my favorite game. It's it's a culmination of all the things that I have loved and I've wanted to make in Warhammer. That's why I again, like messaging Greg, it was just like, yeah, it turns out the 4x4 board that I made based on aerial photographs of Passchendaele, specifically the horrific Third Battle of Ypres from World War One. Turns out that that board that I made, because I just love World War One history and I find that fascinating, and I wanted to pay homage to Passchendaele and just everyone that died there, just because it's just fucked up. But I wanted to represent that, at least to myself, before Trench Crusade was even made. Like I made that years ago. I just fucking love World War One's history, and I don't know. There's just so much of that aesthetic combined with like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, all the other stuff, to give you the grim and the dark, that I cannot wait to just get lost in. Same thing with these. I've got so many bases already made that these were for my Black Legion. My Black Legion, I wanted them to be like trench raiders. So there's just so much stuff that I've already got prepared to build a World War One army, to build World War One themes, the mud, all of it. I've wanted to do this for so long, and it's just like the stars have aligned to where it's just like, it's just nuts. I don't know. I don't want to seem like someone. I'm not someone who flip flops. Like the way that it was presented at the time, I could not have handled that. I was also working on my demons whenever the Kickstarter happened, so like I was not even on the internet. But my initial hesitation just like was not because I don't like the things. It's because of I can't be okay with like more only males can be like, Primaris. I'm not okay with that. Like the things that we do, whether they are just for a game or not, have an impact on people, and the way that they feel and the way that they think, and that is something that is very important to me. And I think that's that. It is 7:41, so I do need to go make coffee, my sweets, but I will be back tomorrow, and I will be back with a lot to show, probably more, hopefully a lot. I don't know if I'll have paint on things yet, but I might have some paint, at least some primer, because today and tomorrow we're about to start hitting shit. I want to be playing games with my wife this weekend on a board for Trench Crusade, so we can actually start making shit for this channel like next week. Like I've had 37 years to like kind of rest, and now I'm like, I want to do the thing I really want to do. So I'm really excited, and I really am excited that you guys are here listening to me in the morning. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you guys later. Sit pretty. Take care.